time I hear him. In fact, this is the second time this month I get to introduce him. And it's my pleasure to introduce Brian Beaulieu. Brian has been an economist with ITR since 1982, its CEO since 1987, chief economist for Vistage International and TEC global organizations comprised of over 13,000 CEOs. Brian has been engaged in applied research regarding business cycle trends, analysis, and utilization of that research at practical business levels. For the past 25 years, he's been giving workshops and seminars across the U.S. and Canada to thousands of business owners and executives. And like I said, I never get tired of listening to him. Brian, stage is yours.
Good morning. Hope you're all doing well, because the economy is, so you might as well be there too. All right, I'm bringing great news today. 2018 is going to be a good year. Strong growth for the economy, therefore we'll have some opportunities. 2019 looks to be like a flat year, but nothing really problematic. And 2020 and 2021, some more rise. So for the next 4 years or so, we're going to be seeing, a favorable economic wind, billowing our sails and moving us forward. What that means is that it's a good time. You getting a little bit of feedback? I'm hearing it. I don't know if you're hearing it. No? Okay. It means it's a good time to be taking some risks. Now this is when you go out there and you strive to make it happen before you get yourself into a difficult economic environment. I know the industry trends have been flat, but they'd be, you hear that? You know what that means? That means an economist just earned his wings. I mean, it's so cool. It doesn't often happen, but when it does, it's very exciting. Because we're not good people. So, take some chances, make it happen while we can. For those of you who have heard me before, you know we have a long-range outlook, and I'll touch upon that today. Nothing has changed about that. Before we get into it, how many of you are listening to this talk for the first time? Can I see a show of hands if this is a first time for you? Okay, so as far as you're concerned, all I am is an economist who you shouldn't believe, all right? Because I have done nothing to get any credibility with you. It's for you and for others that I offer you this slide. This is how 2017 is working out relative to our forecast. That first column, those 8 items, are the same 8 items I've been showing this group for years and years now. They don't change. I don't go data mining. For GDP, that data is through September. Duration is how long was the forecast in place. Our GDP forecast has been in place for 2 years. Our industrial production forecast has been in place for 2 years. Our industrial production, we have December data, that's a 96.8% accuracy rating. Retail sales came in at 99.4% accuracy rating. So 2017 didn't have any real big surprises for us. And we don't think 2018 will either, despite some moving pieces on the chessboard. We're taking those into consideration when I tell you that 18 looks to be a good year, 19 looks to be a flat year. We don't expect to see any significant surprises, but we're always sweeping the radar to make sure that that isn't going to happen. I'm supposed to talk till around 9:45, then we're going to go into Q&A for a half an hour, by the way, so try and stir up your questions. If I spring a question to your mind, we'll have these microphones and you can go ahead and ask them. I know you all, I'm the closer, so you've listened to too many, or a lot of people, not too many people. I make it too many people, so we won't waste a whole lot of your time, okay? This is what's going on in the industry. Between prescription lenses and frames and plain old sunglasses and OTCs to magnifying readers, it's just not going anyplace. In fact, the lenses are down a little bit. We're just not seeing any appreciable rise. I think that's going to improve in 2018. I think you're going to get some uplift in 2018. I think that's going to happen because some of the questions about healthcare insurance will be answered. Because we're seeing disposable personal income in the United States rise, because the overall economy is accelerating on its way up. And there are always things that you can do to help it along. For instance, frames. I'm not sure to what extent the industry, I'm a different demographic, but you got to come up with some fashion wear that the millennials want to have. I mean, that's the hard sell, right? And I'm an economist, I'm not smart enough to know how to do that, but you gotta reach millennials differently than you reach Gen Xers and baby boomers. You folks will figure that out, because you're very, very smart. Readers are growing because us old folks can't see. It's real good. We all look better to ourselves, by the way, because we can't see. We're the first generation that ages and looks better all the time. Here's our outlook for GDP. You see real in the title, and that's because it's adjusted for inflation. The brown triangles, that's that 24-month forecast that I was telling you about. You can see how the actual result, the blue line, has worked out compared to forecast. For 2018, there's virtually no change, but we did tweak 19 a little bit. That's why you see the blue triangles. We took 19 up just a whisker. There's more out of, I don't know, economic purity than anything else, because that's not going to make a big difference in your lives. But you can see that by the end of 2019, we expect the economy to be cycling up again. It'll be in a stronger growth trend in 2020, and it'll continue to grow in 2021 based on what we are looking at today. And we'll be taking a look at leading indicators, what's going on with the consumer, all of which impacts this GDP number.
What is the scale that you showed earlier?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is a Ross Perot chart. We don't talk about scales. We just throw numbers up there. I'm sorry. It should be down there in the bottom right-hand corner. I didn't even catch that. That's trillions of dollars. Trillions of inflation-adjusted dollars. Thank you. I got my eye on you now because you pay attention to the details. So, not an economist friend. You probably take notice too. This is how we like to look at the economy, using the rate of change. And if you've heard me before, you're familiar with the rate of change. If you haven't, I'll define that for you in just a few moments. But right now, you'll see that the blue line, which is U.S. industrial production, is cycling up. And the brown line is also trending upward, meaning the economy is on the upswing. A new business cycle rising trend is at work. You see the last four recessions, the early 1980s, which most of you don't remember, the early 1990s, which some of you remember, that was mild at minus 2.9, 2000, 2001, minus 5.3, and the Great Recession. Our thinking hasn't changed, and this chart allows me to very quickly encapsulate that. If you are 57 years old or older, stop worrying about the Great Recession. It's not going to happen again in your business careers. All right? You will be retired or you will be dead before that happens again. It's not your problem. If you're under 44 years old, you look like you're under 44 years old, sir, right? It is your problem. It sucks to be you, as a matter of fact. But forewarned is forearmed. I mean, just like any business cycle downturn you go into, if you know it's coming, you know how to position yourself. You know how to prepare and maximize the rise. You know how to prepare yourself for the downturn. I primarily mention it at this point in the presentation because I want you to know that we aren't Pollyannish at ITR. We know that there are major problems in the economy, from our national debt to healthcare to demographics. We're not ignoring those, but I tell you that the near-term outlook is good. It's just those issues are going to take longer to manifest themselves as a problem. Update on how the U.S. is fitting into the world economy. We're still number one, and nothing's changed there. We're going to stay number one for about the next 100 years anyways. We will be number one. We've been number one for the last 85 years, and that's not changing. We've got the demographics, we've got the natural resources, we've got the rule of law, all of which are on our side. The Chinese will never be as large as the United States because they don't have demographics, they don't have the natural resources, they don't have the rule of law. So they will falter while we continue to thrive. If you didn't catch this last time I spoke with you, please catch it now. It's important for you to understand we're number one because it means that there are opportunities here that we're not going to get other places. It means that you don't have to read those books or those articles that say that our civilization and our economy is going to be withering away and dying sometime soon. That's not going to happen. I mean, every time you worry about that, just remember every 13 seconds there's a new person running around the United States. Every 13 seconds. Whoop, new person. I call those, FCUs, future consuming units. All right? We got them every 13 seconds. That's the net of births, deaths, and legal immigration into the United States. 13 seconds. 100 million more people coming at us between now and 2050. A lot of them are going to need eyewear, corrective lenses, corrective eyesight. And you've got to figure out how they want it and deliver it to them. But there's no lack of people in our future. Third reason why you need to know, number one, is if you have an adult child living with you at home, kick them out. Darling, this is the number one economy on the planet. You can make it. No, you can't. They're really just avatars. Don't worry about it. We're not going away. The whole world is accelerating along with the United States right now. But like the United States, the whole world will be slowing in its rate of growth in the second half of 2018. And to get the insight into that, looking at this green line here. G7 is the top 7 economies of the planet. The OECD puts together a leading indicator for those 7 economies. We run the rate of change on that indicator, and that gives us the green line. The blue line is world industrial production, so the whole world's industrial base. And you can see the blue line is still going up. But the green line, which we shift forward to account for the lead time, is clearly telling us that in the second half of 2018, the whole world will be slowing down. When the whole world is slowing down, you're going to see commodity prices are no longer rising as fast as they have been. You're going to see that the political pressure surrounding talk about trade really begins to get excited. All right, everybody's talk reasonably sensibly when we're all doing well, but when we start going down the backside of the business cycle, things get a lot more tense. The U.S. is going to be right there with the rest of the world in the second half of 18, slower growth, leading into that flat spot for 2019. This is bringing it back home. This is migration between states. And they don't have the July 17 data yet, so I'll update that as soon as I can. But when you're looking at this chart, where you see that rust color, orange, that's where people are leaving in droves. So they're leaving California. And where you see that darker, what is it, blue, that's where they're moving to. So they're moving east and north of California. They're going to Texas, they're going to Colorado, they're going to the southeast part of the United States. If you take that and combine it with immigration from overseas and birth rates, you come up with this slide. This is population growth from 2010 through 2016. Despite all the people leaving California, they still have a 5.4% population growth, which is a little bit better than the U.S. average, because they're procreating fast enough. All right? You see North Dakota at the top of this slide, it has the darkest green at 12.7%. That's because this took place during the oil boom. They no longer are that dark green. In fact, people are leaving North Dakota because, you know, why go through that weather if you don't have to? So they're leaving North Dakota. Texas is really the number one state. Texas is number one on so many different levels right now, in terms of the diversity of its economy, in terms of the demographics. If I had to pick a state to be doing business in locally, it would be Texas. You like that? How many guns you packing? 5. Yeah, you don't even ask these guys if they're packing, it's how many are they packing.